Have you ever shared something with your family that you later regretted? Maybe it was a financial struggle, a past regret, or even a health concern that unintentionally changed the way they saw you. What if I told you there are certain things you should never reveal to your loved ones? In today's video, we're diving into 5 key things you should keep secret from your family. Things that, if shared, could cause unnecessary stress, misunderstandings, and emotional distance. We're going to talk about why keeping these secrets can protect your relationships, preserve your dignity, and maintain family harmony. You might be thinking, but shouldn't I be open with my family about everything? Well, you'll learn how too much honesty can backfire and why there's wisdom in knowing what to share and when to keep it private. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to create a healthier emotional environment with your loved ones while also protecting your peace of mind. Stay tuned as we explore why some secrets are better kept and how doing so can lead to more meaningful, respectful, and positive relationships with those you care about. Don't miss out on this crucial advice. You'll thank yourself later. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. 1. Financial struggles or successes. Financial matters hold an incredible amount of power in our lives. They can influence how we feel about ourselves, how we relate to others, and how we navigate the world. Money, or the lack thereof, can evoke a deep sense of pride or shame, security or fear. When we share too much about our financial situations, whether it's about struggles or successes, we may inadvertently create more harm than good. I've seen it happen in my own life, where people, sometimes even those closest to us, are affected by the financial details we feel compelled to share. But here's the thing. In opening up about our finances, we risk not only exposing ourselves but also creating unnecessary stress and tension. When we talk about financial struggles, it can often lead to a heavy feeling of helplessness or burden. Our loved ones may feel sorry for us, but they might also feel obligated to offer assistance, which can turn a seemingly innocent conversation into a source of stress for them. There's a fine line between seeking advice and making someone feel like they have to come to our rescue. On the flip side, when we share our successes, whether it's a new job, a windfall, or an investment that paid off, we may unintentionally spark envy, resentment, or unrealistic expectations. Family members or close friends might start to believe they deserve a piece of that success, or they may expect us to constantly provide for them. It's a delicate balance, and it's not always clear how far to go when sharing such intimate details. I've learned that talking too much about money, even in a casual or well-meaning way, can lead to feelings of isolation or discomfort. It's as though the more we reveal, the more we inadvertently open a door to unnecessary judgments or pressure. There's an emotional weight to financial discussions that often gets overlooked. What seems like an innocent mention of our bank balance or spending habits can create ripples of tension, especially if others perceive us as doing better or worse than they are. It's not just the numbers on a page, it's the emotions they stir up. For example, if I mention how I'm struggling with bills or debt, I might cause a loved one to feel pity, or worse, guilt. On the other hand, if I talk about a recent financial victory, it could make someone else feel like they're falling short. This is especially true when we're dealing with sensitive family dynamics, where jealousy, competition, or unspoken expectations can complicate things. What I've found to be much more beneficial, and what I would advise others to do, is to focus less on the specifics and more on the broader lessons learned from our financial journeys. Instead of focusing on dollar amounts or comparing assets, I try to share insights about money management, resilience, and the value of patience. When I share the wisdom I've gathered over the years, whether it's about saving, budgeting, or dealing with setbacks, I offer something far more valuable than a glimpse into my current bank statement. Money isn't just about numbers. It's about understanding, making wise decisions, and building a mindset that promotes long-term stability. What matters is not just how much money we have, but how we manage it, how we approach challenges, and how we choose to invest in our future. By providing guidance and sharing lessons rather than airing out every detail of our financial ups and downs, we not only protect ourselves from unnecessary stress, but also help our loved ones in a much deeper, more meaningful way. We empower them to learn and grow from our experiences, without the added pressure of comparing their financial situation to ours. It's a more nurturing and fulfilling approach to the topic of money, and one that fosters emotional connections without the heavy burden of judgment or entitlement. Ultimately, the act of sharing, especially when it comes to something as emotionally charged as finances, should be approached with intention and care. We don't need to lay out every detail to be understood. Sometimes, it's the broader strokes of our story, the challenges, the lessons, and the advice that truly resonate. It's those intangible things that make all the difference, creating an open and supportive environment where we can all learn from each other without feeling judged or pressured. In the end, it's not about the money itself, but about how we use it, how we manage it, and how we share our experiences in a way that uplifts and empowers everyone involved. 2. Regrets from the past. Regrets are a deeply human experience, aren't they? Every one of us carries them, like invisible burdens on our shoulders. Those moments we wish we could redo, those paths we never took, and those words we should have said but didn't. It's natural to feel this way and to reflect on the choices that shaped our lives. But if we're not careful, these regrets can become all-consuming, overshadowing everything we have now. There's something inherently bittersweet about the past. It's behind us, yet it often sneaks its way into our present, clouding our happiness. And while reflecting on the past is part of who we are, there's a fine line between acknowledging it and allowing it to take over our lives. When we share our regrets with our family and loved ones, it's understandable. We want them to understand us, to know the pain and sorrow we've carried. But over time, it can shift the atmosphere in ways we might not intend. Instead of creating moments of joy, connection, and laughter in the present, it can foster an environment of sadness, guilt, and even shame. It's as if we're asking our loved ones to walk with us backward through time, reliving mistakes, and missing the chance to build something better right in front of us. It's heartbreaking because the present, the only time that's truly ours, is slipping away. In my opinion, we owe it to ourselves, and to the ones we care about, to find a way to honor the lessons we've learned without drowning in the weight of regret. Yes, our mistakes, our missteps, and our past are part of our story, but they are not the whole story. Instead of dwelling endlessly on what went wrong, we should share what we've learned. The courage it took to keep going after a setback. The wisdom we gained from failure. The strength we found in picking ourselves up after being knocked down. These are the things that we can share to build a bridge from the past to the present, without allowing the past to pull us under. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Focusing on what we've gained, rather than what we've lost, helps us to appreciate the relationships we have now. It's the moments of kindness, understanding, and growth that matter most. So, while it's human to have regrets, I truly believe it's healthier, for ourselves and those around us, to channel our energy into creating a future full of love, hope, and shared experiences. Let's not let the shadow of the past consume the light of what's possible today. When we do this, we can allow ourselves and our families to thrive in the present, unburdened by guilt or sorrow. It's all about finding peace with what was and creating joy with what is. 3. Health issues too frequently. It's essential to communicate major health issues to your loved ones, especially when the situation calls for their understanding, support, or action. Health problems can be overwhelming, and sharing them can help relieve some of that burden, especially when you're navigating a challenging diagnosis or a change in your condition. However, what I've come to realize, from both personal experience and seeing others go through similar struggles, is that constantly talking about every small ache, pain, or medical concern can have unintended consequences. While it's natural to want to vent or seek comfort when you're dealing with discomfort or worry, over-focusing on these things can slowly shift the way your family members view and interact with you. Instead of being recognized for your wisdom, your strength, and the many contributions you've made over the years, you risk being seen primarily through the lens of illness or fragility. You may no longer be seen as the strong, independent person you've always been. Instead, you may start to feel like you're being defined by your health issues, which can be incredibly disheartening. It changes the dynamic. The person who once inspired admiration and confidence might begin to feel pitted or constantly attended to, with your family treating you more like a patient than a loved one. And while there's nothing wrong with needing care or support, I've found that losing that sense of respect and balance can erode your sense of dignity over time. I think it's incredibly important to share your health concerns with balance and dignity. There's power in being able to express what you're going through without losing the essence of who you are. Health challenges shouldn't have to strip away your identity. I've seen it happen far too often, where people begin to isolate themselves or retreat from conversations altogether, thinking that their concerns are too much for others to handle. But the truth is, you don't need to carry this weight alone, nor do you need to overburden your loved ones with constant updates about every ache or medical test. Sharing selectively and thoughtfully, choosing the moments that truly matter, can preserve your emotional well-being, as well as your relationships. By maintaining a sense of strength, you don't just safeguard your dignity, you also preserve the bond you have with those around you. There's a certain beauty in sharing health concerns with a calm and thoughtful demeanor, knowing when to ask for help without it overshadowing your worth. This approach allows the people you love to be there for you in a meaningful, positive way, rather than feeling helpless or overwhelmed by the endless stream of health issues. I've learned that this is about finding a balance that protects both you and the people who care about you. It's not about pretending to be invincible, but rather about honoring your humanity and showing that you are still the same person, even when facing physical difficulties. Sharing with dignity helps to keep your connection with others strong, without diminishing your sense of self or your relationships. After all, your health may change over time, but your value and the love you give and receive remain constant. 4. Personal opinions about family members. Expressing negative opinions about a family member, especially when those opinions are shared within the family itself, is something that can have profound and lasting consequences. It's all too easy to slip into the trap of sharing frustrations, especially when the emotional heat of a moment overwhelms our better judgment. We may feel entitled to express our feelings because we believe we are being honest, or perhaps we think that by offering criticism, we are helping the other person to grow. But the reality is that even the most well-intentioned criticisms can easily become weapons that cut deep, often leaving wounds that may never fully heal. Over time, those wounds can erode the closeness and trust that were once the foundation of family bonds. I've seen it happen in my own family, and it's heartbreaking to witness. When we criticize a family member, even if we don't mean to hurt them, it can feel like a betrayal. Our loved ones often perceive our words as a reflection of their worth, making them feel invalidated or rejected. The emotional distance that forms after such exchanges is often far greater than we realize in the moment. Family members may retreat inwardly, keeping their true feelings hidden, all the while believing that they cannot trust those who are supposed to be their most supportive allies. As much as we may want to be honest with our family, we must recognize the profound impact our words can have on their hearts and minds. And sometimes, that impact can have long-lasting effects that reach far beyond the conversation at hand. I think back on times when I've seen family members struggle to repair their relationships after a harsh exchange. What seemed like a minor disagreement can morph into a deep-seated resentment that sticks around for years, quietly festering and complicating every future interaction. It's also important to acknowledge that our intentions, however pure, don't always translate into understanding. We may think we are simply offering a piece of advice or a well-meaning observation, but the way our message is received can be entirely different from how we intended it. People are sensitive to criticism, especially from those they love, because it feels as though their flaws are being exposed in the most vulnerable part of their lives, the family dynamic. In these situations, even the smallest remark can feel like a major betrayal. I've learned that what I may see as an honest conversation might be received as an assault on someone's character or identity. This is why it's crucial to be mindful of how and when we express our opinions, choosing our words with care, and sometimes simply choosing silence. In some cases, holding back is the greatest act of love and wisdom. From personal experience, I can say that there have been times when I've been tempted to speak my mind about a family member's actions or decisions. There were moments when frustration or concern clouded my thoughts, and I felt the urge to step in and offer advice, whether it was wanted or not. But what I've come to realize, after much reflection, is that holding my tongue often creates space for peace to prevail. Silence, when done with the right intentions, can be far more powerful than speaking out in anger or frustration. It allows for time to process emotions, reflect on what is truly important, and avoid saying things that may later regret. Silence doesn't mean we are silent forever. It means we're choosing to pause, to breathe, and to wait for the right moment when our words can truly serve to heal, rather than to harm. And at times, we discover that silence speaks volumes. It conveys respect, consideration, and love. I have also learned that family dynamics are incredibly delicate. The relationships we share with our loved ones are unlike any other, rooted in history, shared experiences, and a deep-seated emotional connection. That's why the stakes are higher when it comes to the words we choose to speak. When there's conflict, it's essential to evaluate whether our criticisms are genuinely necessary or if they are simply the product of temporary frustration. In the heat of the moment, it's easy to forget that the same family member we're upset with is someone who has stood by us, shared in our joys and sorrows, and offered us their support in times of need. Sometimes, it's better to let the storm pass before we speak, allowing the emotions to settle so that we can communicate more effectively and with greater understanding. In the end, family harmony is worth fighting for, and the ability to protect it can be seen as an act of emotional maturity. We must remember that the ones we love are human, just like us, and they will have moments of weakness, moments of imperfection, and moments when they need our patience more than our judgment. And when we choose silence or restraint, we are affirming that the relationship is more important than the temporary urge to voice our opinions. It's in these moments that we build the strongest and most enduring connections with our family. To forgive, to overlook small transgressions, and to prioritize unity is what truly defines love within a family. There have been times in my life when I felt frustrated or misunderstood by my family, but in those moments, I have realized that choosing to protect my family's peace has often been more rewarding than anything I could have said. I've learned that expressing love and care isn't always about speaking our truth at every turn, but about knowing when to be quiet, when to step back, and when to let time and understanding do the work. So, the next time I feel tempted to offer unsolicited criticism or share a negative opinion about a loved one, I will remind myself of the deep value of family harmony and the lasting impact my words can have. Silence is not weakness. It's a quiet strength that preserves the dignity of others and protects the love we hold in our hearts. 5. Fears about the future. As we navigate the later stages of life, fears about the future tend to intensify. It's a natural part of the human experience, especially as we witness changes in our bodies, our relationships, and the world around us. Thoughts of aging, physical decline, loneliness, and the uncertainties of the future can creep into our minds, sometimes overwhelming us with a sense of dread. These concerns are not only valid, but they are also deeply ingrained in the human condition. However, there's a hidden emotional cost that can come with constantly voicing these fears to our loved ones, particularly family members. While it is perfectly normal to experience anxiety about the unknown, constantly expressing these fears can create an emotional burden for those who are closest to us. Our family members, especially those who are caring for us or who have a close emotional connection to us, often feel a deep sense of responsibility for our well-being. Naturally, they want to comfort us, offer solutions, and reassure us that everything will be okay. But when we repeatedly bring up our anxieties, whether about our health, the possibility of loneliness, or the changes we anticipate, it can start to take a toll on our emotional reserves. Over time, The stress and worry that we project can weigh them down in ways that might not be immediately obvious. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. There is an emotional exhaustion that comes with trying to continuously comfort someone who is in a state of perpetual anxiety. Family members, though well-meaning, may begin to feel helpless, as if their efforts to reassure us are never enough to make the fears go away. This can lead to a sense of guilt on their part, especially when they feel that no matter how much they do, they can't seem to alleviate our concerns. It's heartbreaking because they may feel as though they're failing us when in reality, they are simply human and limited in their capacity to provide the comfort we need. The constant repetition of worries and fears can also lead to emotional burnout, which in turn can strain the relationship even if the love and intention are still there. In addition, this repeated cycle of fear and worry can lead to feelings of isolation for both the ones who are anxious and the ones who care. When we place our fears at the forefront of every conversation, it can overshadow the joys and positive moments that we might share with family. Instead of basking in the warmth of a meaningful connection, we risk focusing too much on the shadows of what may come. This subtle shift can slowly erode the emotional quality of our relationships, as everyone becomes more focused on managing anxieties rather than enjoying the love and presence of one another. I believe that finding a balance between expressing concerns and maintaining emotional stability is crucial. It's important to allow ourselves the space to feel and acknowledge our fears, but it's equally vital to not let them dominate our relationships. Managing these fears privately doesn't mean repressing them, but rather allowing ourselves to process them healthily, away from the constant attention of loved ones. Seeking professional support, such as therapy, or turning to outlets like journaling, meditation, or personal reflection, can provide the release and clarity we need. These avenues allow us to work through our worries without putting undue emotional strain on those around us. At the same time, fostering a positive and resilient outlook for the sake of our relationships can be incredibly rewarding. It's about finding moments of joy in the present, being mindful of our blessings, and focusing on the things that bring us peace. Yes, there will be moments of vulnerability and sadness, but by choosing to manage these emotions privately, we also protect our families from becoming weighed down by our anxieties. They will still be there to support us, but we can shield them from emotional exhaustion by not burdening them with our fears all the time. It is a way of showing love and care for them, even in our moments of uncertainty. By shifting our focus to the positive, no matter how small those positive things might be, we cultivate a sense of resilience within ourselves that not only benefits our emotional well-being but also strengthens the bonds we share with our loved ones. It's about making the conscious choice to walk through the challenges of aging, health concerns, and loneliness with a spirit of determination and peace. When we choose to carry our burdens with grace and self-awareness, we give those around us the gift of peace, too. I truly believe that family is meant to be a source of strength and joy, not constant emotional distress. And while it's perfectly okay to seek help and share our vulnerabilities, it's essential to understand the emotional cost of constantly voicing our fears. By giving ourselves the space to process our worries privately, we allow our relationships to thrive, rooted in love, understanding, and mutual support. The future may be uncertain, but by facing it with resilience, we not only preserve our emotional health but also protect the emotional well-being of those who love us. As we've explored today, managing our fears and anxieties about the future is not only crucial for our well-being but also for the health of our relationships with those we love. It's natural to feel apprehensive about aging and the unknown, but by approaching these concerns with resilience and emotional awareness, we can protect ourselves and our families from unnecessary emotional burdens. Whether it's choosing to process our fears privately or focusing on the positives in our lives, each step we take toward managing our anxieties will strengthen our emotional well-being and deepen our connections with others. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one thing you've learned from this video that you plan to bring into your own life? How will you approach your fears and the relationships around you with a new perspective? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. I can't wait to hear what you have to say. If you liked this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content that will help you live a more fulfilling, peaceful life. Thank you for watching.